The future moves fast. The Point Shift Happens podcast is your edge, where leaders unpack AI, data, modern work, and the mindset shifts that turn change into advantage. Hear what top innovators are trying next and how to make it work. Visit avpt.co/shift today.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Know how many times they're going to get back to the Super Bowl, so at least somebody can say that they won a Super Bowl. I mean, you know, we'll get there at some point, I guess, again. But hopefully by the time, you know, Skylar isn't, you know, 40 and married. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. I want to thank you all for checking in and tuning in as you do each and every week. On this episode, we're going to talk a little football. And as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching. I appreciate you all for tapping in on YouTube as well. I have two special hosts who are no strangers to this show. They are the members of the We Did That Shit podcast. That's on a they're on a brief hiatus. They're going to come back at some point, I promise. I'm not sure when, but they'll be back. But for this episode, we got them, and they are both diehard Eagles fans. And I figured, why not? The season is over. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened in their journey as Eagles fans, and looking forward to the future. From the We Did That Shit podcast, my girl Mya and my girl Bibbi are in the building. Ladies, what's up?
What's up, Kyle? Hey, Kyle.
And as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, both of them are donning. They have what do they call those glasses?
Our tumblers.
Tumbler cups with Eagles paraphernalia. They got on the Brian Dawkins throwback jersey, both of them. I just got a South Carolina State t-shirt because I wasn't gonna wear my Giants gear on here. One of my favorite clips from last year that I posted on Instagram and TikTok was me kind of talking a little bit of trash to you guys before we started on the last episode that we did, which didn't have anything to do with football. But I was talking trash, and you guys made mention of the fact that, you know, y'all were going to the Super Bowl because y'all had Saquon Barkley, who played for my Giants in the previous years, and y'all did it. So, Bibbi, I'll start with you. How does it feel to be a Super Bowl champion again?
We did that shit.
We did that shit.
We did that shit.
Y'all
did it.
Okay. I can't even describe how I feel. The journey is so emotional. It really is. It really does take a toll on you. And 2 years ago, when we were in Phoenix, we were deflated. And I will tell you, the only thing that got me through that was, I was like, if we feel like this, imagine how they feel. And that was the only thing that got me going. Mya held on much longer than me. She was very upset. Like, we were upset.
Year.
So getting there was, it was like, in the beginning, we're winning, like, yay. We lose one game. We were like, it was a lot of emotion, but we did that shit. And we did it. We did it. Like, It wasn't no mistaken. Like, we did that shit.
Right.
So,
what about you, Mya?
I mean, she said all that needed to be said. We did that shit. It really speaks to what our podcast is named after. We did that shit. That's just like doing anything that you can do in life. You know, when you do it to the max. And we did it to the max. I mean, the Super Bowl win was awesome. Of course, any team that wins the Super Bowl, you're like, you know, you're over the moon. But I think this year, the way that we did it, especially coming off of last year, and I'm sure we'll get to that a little bit, you know, with the way that the season was last year, kind of like the way the fans, because one thing about the Eagles fans, and I'm sure we'll get to that, like we gonna critique the team. You know what I mean? We
Win
gonna
or
tell you if you're
lose.
doing good,
Win
if
or
you're doing
lose.
bad. So I think with coming off of last year, the way that the season ended, to come back and be able to win the bowl and dominate the bowl, not just win the bowl, but really dominate the bowl. It really said a lot. You know, as a fan, as Bibbi said, that game in Arizona, baby, I was angry. Angry for a year and a half. Like for a year and a half straight, like anybody that brought it up, I was ready to like real fist fight. Like really like, what are we talking about? You know, like real aggressive. So for us to win it this year, I mean, we're humbled. You know what I'm saying? We're very humble. Even though,
Y'all
like,
are,
y'all
but
thought y'all was going to
most
come in there
Eagles
and
fans
beat
aren't.
us, but you didn't. None of y'all teams. We the bold champs. Like, let's get it clear. But, you know, I'm so very happy.
Of course you are. Of course
Yes.
you are. So both of you mentioned that. So let's go back. Like you said, a couple of years ago, if you guys don't know, the Eagles did make the Super Bowl. Was it 2 years ago, and they faced off against Kansas City. And it was a game that really was back and forth. It was an evenly matched game, and you know, the ball bouncing this way or the ball bouncing that way, it could have gone either way. Jalen Hurts, the Eagles quarterback, played what I thought was a pretty good game. He had one mistake.
Right.
He had a costly fumble that was returned for a touchdown that ultimately was the difference in the game. So what's it like? Because both of you went to that game in Arizona. What's it like as a fan? You and these ladies are, when I say diehard, I'm not just saying this just because I know them personally. I mean, like, they are diehard Eagles fans, diehard football fans, ladies that really, really know the game. And I'll start with you first, Mya. To go to Arizona because here's the thing, I tell everybody, when you go to a football game, particularly a big game, a playoff game, a Super Bowl championship game, you never envision your team losing. Nobody says, "Oh, well, hey, we're just happy to be here. We're excited just to be here. We're going along for the." Listen, as much as a Super Bowl trip costs, ain't nobody going just to be going. Right? Unless your corporation paid for you to go, ain't nobody going just to be going. Now, if you don't have a vested interest in any team, in either team, then yeah, you probably could go kick your feet up and have a couple of drinks and just enjoy the game as Joe fan. But if your team is playing and you love them as much as these ladies love the Eagles, so I'll start there. What was it like to go to Arizona and then expecting to win and then seeing the game, how it played out, and then the fallout from it? How did you handle that?
Well, the fallout, I mean, I was angry. That's no doubt about it. You know, I definitely did not think that we were going to lose. You know, let's just be very clear. Football is any given Sunday. That is true across the board. You know, you think you have the best team, you think your team is going to do it, and any given Sunday, you know, another team could win. So, and I don't like that whole, well, you know, we playing a bum team. Yeah, now I'm a definitely like, come on, we playing whoever, we should win. But at the end of the day, it is any given Sunday. I want to go back to something that you said though.
Okay.
That game didn't come down to Jalen having a fumble.
No,
that game came. That wasn't the catalyst that made us lose the game, because at the end of the day, when Jalen fumbled and they returned it back for a touchdown, we scored the next play. As soon as we got the ball, we scored again.
Had a lot of time.
That game came down to coaching, point blank, period. It's nothing else but coaching. And that'll come back to the Super Bowl this year. Even though we were a better team all the way around, it came down to coaching this game too, because we had the better coaching staff. Andy outcoached Nick that first Super Bowl against the Chiefs. It wasn't no other way. Andy is going to go into Andy Reid, for those of you who don't know, you know, how we saying Andy.
Right.
Andy is going to go down as a coach for the Hall of Fame. And the one thing that Andy does, because he was our coach and he did it so well for us, Andy knows how to pivot. So he knows how to adjust. He looked at that first half. We was dominating that first half. He said, no, we got to make some changes. They went in the back on halftime. They made them changes. They came out, and it came down to pure coaching. And then that coach that we had, our defensive coordinator, the next year he became the Cardinals coordinator. What's my man's name? Jonathan Gannon. He became the Cardinals. And to me, I'm just gonna say it. He threw the goddamn game. It ain't no way, because it's no way. When you see a play happen and they do that play to the right.
Yeah.
It's no way that you don't adjust and then they come back the very next play and do the same play to the left. It didn't make sense. So really what it came down to was he was out the door. Yeah. So he wasn't really too much worried about it because he already had the job sold up. And it just came down to coaching. Like, we got out coached. You know what I'm saying? Like, for as good as we were that season, for as good as we were that game, because the whole game, with the exception of Jalen fumbling, we played a hell of a game. Jalen outplayed. Let's be clear. Let's be real clear. Jalen outplayed Mahomes on that first Super Bowl, and he definitely outplayed them on the second Super Bowl. But it came down to coaching. So I mean, it was hard to watch, because even when we were in Arizona and we were talking to Chief fans, everybody said, "Well, we know y'all gonna win. It's y'all year. Y'all gonna win." It wasn't a doubt in our mind that we wasn't gonna win. That's why I was so devastated. I was devastated.
What about you, Bibbi?
I'm going to try to remain calm, because when I get excited, my voice gets very high. But I agree with Mya 110%. And I will say, it's harder when you're watching it up close. Yes. It's very different when you're in your living room, with your family and friends or something. But when you are there and you are watching it up close, you are vested, and it's much harder then. And the only thing I'm going to add to what Mya says is, and I'm glad she brought him up, because our defense, and this was throughout the season, we were winning games, but we were winning games with offense scoring points. But if the defense was not holding the teams, people were answering all the time. And the defense, I don't know what they were doing out there playing two-hand touch, and it was getting on my nerves, because I am a defense. I do not own an offensive jersey. All of my jerseys are defense, because offense is fancy. That's cute to look at and all that other kind of stuff. But if you can't stop the other team from scoring, you're not going to win. Thanks. And that is the big difference between the 2 years. That's the biggest difference. Not only is our offense beautiful, flawless, but now we have a defense that's, I was just watching some Dawkins film like earlier this week, and I mean, he was, up in the air bringing them down, so, and we got Carter, who just likes to, pick people up, drop them down. So, and that makes the difference. That makes the difference. So we just did not have that compliment at Super Bowl 57 that we had in Super Bowl 59.
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of credit has to go to the Philadelphia Eagles general manager, a guy by the name of Howie Roseman, who has been he has been a NFL draft guru. He's made all of the right moves as far as bringing in pieces that fit what head coach Andy Reid is doing. Philly, you could tell, even though, like you said, that night belonged to the Chiefs. One thing my coach used to always tell us in college when I was at South Carolina State, he would say, there's never one play that loses the game. He's like, there's always 5 to 7 plays throughout the game that you can say, okay, hey, if we would have done this, we would have won. And I think, that fumble that Hurts had probably was one of those things, but it didn't cost you the game, because like you said, they ended up scoring and you still had plenty of time left and not being able to make the adjustments on the fly. But Howie went to work, and much to the surprise of the rest of the NFL, They go out and, as we mentioned last year when you guys were on the podcast, they go out and they get Saquon Barkley for fish heads and rice.
Right.
The Giants did nothing. The Giants got nothing in return, and subsequently, as I'm a Giants fan, the Giants' current head coach and GM, their jobs now subsequently on the line. And while I don't root for anybody to get fired, I'm going to go ahead and step out on a limb and say they will be fired by Halloween. Because at the time of this recording, the schedule just came out. If you go look at the Giants schedule, they're probably going to lose probably the first 4 or 5 games. I mean, like, it's murder's row the first 5 weeks. I think we play y'all in Philly, I think week 2. So it's that happens. They go get Saquon Barkley, and then there's, at least nationally, there's a lot of scrutiny for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a guy who has, I followed him throughout his college career. He's always been steady. He doesn't really say much. He doesn't really give you the headlines. He seems to be like from what I could tell, from what I saw in college as well as in the NFL, a very, what we call a natural born leader. And guys just follow right along with him. So Hurts was under a lot of scrutiny. He got this big contract, and, all eyes were on him. And then bringing in a talent like Saquon Barkley, definitely made his job a whole lot easier. So then the season starts last year, and Philly gets on a roll. But B, I'll start with you with this question. At what point did you think we're going to go back to the Super Bowl? Because it clicks for different people at different times during the year. Some see it early, some see it late, some don't even see it until the playoffs. I mean, we knew that Philly was a good team, but Philly, I think you guys got off to like an 8-0 start last year, 9-0, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so at what point did you? What point did you say we're going back to the Super Bowl?
By our bye week.
Okay.
When our bye week came and we rested, when we came back from the bye, we only lost 2 games last season.
Right.
And even though Mya is a fan that is like, her philosophy is always first quarter, let's get them done. Get them out of here. That's her favorite thing. Get them out of here. So when we were planning, we were like, okay, the Super Bowl's in New Orleans. We were doing that early, game 3, 4. We were doing that very, very early. Okay, it's in New Orleans. Where are we going to stay? In fact, in August, we were in New Orleans and we were trying to make reservations. Wow. And they told us that, certain hotels were already bought out by the NFL and stuff like that. So we were already planning to go.
I know how much y'all love New Orleans. So. These ladies go to Essence Fest damn near every year.
Yes. So we were already planning to go to the Super Bowl. By the bye week, I knew we were going. I knew. I was like, you know what? We're going to the Super Bowl. And even like at work, I was wearing green every day. We had a meeting in Dallas. I wore green every single day to the meeting in Dallas. And, I kept saying like, we're going. And then we lost to, who did we lose to? I forgot who we lost to, but Mya was like, she was pissed. Like, like, we ain't going to New Orleans. I don't care. And I was like, I didn't want it to happen like our season did last year. But I was like, something in me just knew. And I kept saying, Mya, let's get our room. Mya, let's get, Mya, what are we going to do? Mya, are we going? And because I just knew that we were going to make it. I think that what it is that it is every given Sunday, but football is also about momentum and camaraderie. Yes. And you can start to see the momentum and the camaraderie grow week after week after week. That's why you can have a team with a whole bunch of superstars and they never win because everybody is trying to be a superstar. But on our team, everybody is coming to play their part so that they can get to the ship. And you were seeing it week after week after week, even in the loss. And I'm not talking about the one where Mya really went off and watched. But, you can see that we had that thing that was going to make us tight. And it was getting strengthened week after week after week. And I was like, we're going. That's why I was saving my money, and thank goodness, because I needed it. But I knew it. I knew it.
Okay. What about you, Maya? When did you know that this was going to be the year for the Philadelphia Eagles?
I think that when we got Saquon, and me and my mate had a conversation. He was like, y'all going to the Super Bowl? And I was like, perhaps, because I don't like to get real, like,
right.
In my mind, I'm like, we it. We this, we that. But I
right.
I let the people like have their moments, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, but perhaps. Then my brother said, yeah, y'all probably going to the Super Bowl. Me and my brother talk about football all the time. So I was like, perhaps, Before the bye, I was like, yeah, we probably going to the Super Bowl. But after the bye, I agreed with Bibbi. It was like, we going to the shit, because like she said, it just kept getting, it just you could just see everybody playing their part. You could see the coaching. And the biggest thing to me was our defense. First of all, our offensive line is the best, right? So that was that. Our defense, Vic Fangio, one thing about Vic, he's an old school coach. Old school. And I'm an old school everything fan. And I'm like, he's the coach that's going to be like in their ass. You know what I mean? The coach that's playing hard. The coach that's like, go out there and murder them. You know what I'm saying? He's more of my kind of guy. Not like that, let's play soft. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like that season, that 2023 season, when we went 10-0 and then we lost the rest of those games. And like Bibbi said, you was playing two-hand touch. You wasn't tackling. It was like, this is going nowhere fast, But last year, they was tackling. I was like, this is it. Now she's right. She was like, well, what are we going to do? Are we going? Are we not? Are we going? And I was the person that was dragging the feet, because I was like, I don't know. I ain't spending all that money. We go to New Orleans all the time. We're always in New Orleans. I don't want to go down there just to go, But like she said, and after the bye, it was pretty apparent that we was going somewhere. Now, whether or not I thought we was definitely going to the Super Bowl, we was going somewhere. Like we was, it ain't never a doubt in my mind if we going to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? But I knew we was going somewhere, because Saquon, for all of his goofiness today, he was the missing piece. You know what I'm saying? Philly never really had a run game. We never really been a run game team. That's the biggest thing that we scream out. Run the ball. You know what I'm saying? And that we'll probably get to this. I don't want to overstep, but that kind of irks me too when people talk about Hurts, because I'm like, we never really been a running team. So you talking about him, he's shown what he can do with his arm since he came into the daggone game. So don't talk to me about now he got Saquon and he doing so much. He's been doing what he's doing. Saquon was the missing piece because we needed a run game and he gave us one. But yeah, after the bye, I pretty much figured, it's what it is.
I think when I saw Philly early in the season, I can't really, it might have been week 2 or 3. And I told you guys, once you guys got Saquon, he was going to be a difference maker. But when I saw the Eagles play, I think it was week 2 or week 3. I can't remember who they played, but I want to say it was either a Sunday night game or a Monday night game, one of the two. And I was watching the way the offense was playing. I was like, oh, they are a problem. I was like, they are. I was like, barring injury, major injuries, quarterback getting hurt, receiver, running back, somebody like that. I was like, because the thing is that Philly was, what I noticed was, everybody notices, obviously, your quarterback play, your running back play, but they were dominating on both sides of the offensive and defensive line. And, my dad used to always tell us when he coached me as a kid, he said, hey, the game of football is a simple game. It's like the team that blocks the best and tackles the best, usually the team that wins. And he said, you can't win a game without winning the line of scrimmage. And Philly was really like, there were a couple of plays I saw where Saquon Barkley, he was getting the ball, but he wasn't getting touched until he was 7, 8 yards down the field.
Okay.
If you have offensive plays like that, you as a coordinator, I could call plays. You know what I'm saying? It makes their job so much easier. And then the thing I think that started to really resonate with me was hearing and I don't know how much you guys pay attention or if you pay attention to it at all, what the national media was saying. The national media started picking at little small. This is when you know a team is good. When they start picking at the little small things. Oh, is this Jalen Hurts' team or is this Saquon Barkley's team? You know, and that stuff has nothing to do with anything, right?
Right.
And so when I saw that, I was like, they got a chance. I didn't know who was going to win the Super Bowl, but I was like, they're going to be a problem. Everybody was focused on Detroit, and Detroit was good. I thought it was going to be Detroit versus Philly for the NFC Championship game. Detroit didn't make it.
Everybody thought that.
Yeah, I mean, like
Detroit thought that. The
But
Commanders thought it too.
Right, but they had a lot of injuries. You know,
They
in
did.
their defense,
They
they
did.
did at the
They
end
did.
of the season. They had a lot of injuries, and you know, truth be told, you know, whatever. It didn't matter.
well, you know,
It didn't matter who was coming; they was leaving.
It works
Right.
in your favor because like injuries are just it's just a part of the game. But yeah, when you start seeing stuff like that and you hear the kind of the nitpicking, and then of course your coach is a lightning rod, Nick Sirianni. You know, you either love him or you hate him. There's really no in between. And so when you started seeing that, and then I was like, okay, Philly is legit. So the season rolls on, you roll into the playoffs. Well, actually, let me go back. The Eagles made a simple play very famous. For those of you who don't watch football, it's called the Tush Push. It is a very simple play. It is a play that they've made famous. It is a play that they've made so famous that there are actually teams that want the play banned. It's a legal play. It's where the quarterback lines up. He takes a quarterback sneak and he is pushed forward by his running back, and he pushes himself forward. The offensive linemen submerge themselves, and they usually get the first down. Or if it's third down or fourth down, they usually get the first down. I can't really think of too many times where they didn't get a first down. What do y'all think about all of this? There was some backlash last year, and then subsequently, I think it was the Packers took it to the player committee, a competition committee with the NFL during this offseason, suggesting that the play be banned. Bibbi, what do you think about that?
Haters going to hate. That's what I think about it. Haters going to hate. And also, it's the brotherly shove. Everybody keep calling it the Tush Push. They really don't like that name. It is known by the Tush Push, but it is the brotherly shove. And I think it is an excellent play. It speaks to the strength. You know, it takes a lot of physical strength to push through another line and get that ball over the line. So no one has been hurt, you know, because they're trying to bring up all kinds of things and why it should be banned and all this other kind of stuff. And the bottom line is that haters are going to hate because they can't stop it and they can't duplicate it because other teams have started to try and they can't get it right. So of course, you know, now they want it banned, but that is another thing about momentum. You talked about how they start nitpicking and things like that, trying to ban the brotherly shove, tush push. These things mess with momentum, and they do that to try to get teams to start losing. But we have strong leadership, especially in the form of Jalen Hurts, Mya's boo. You know, and he keeps
Let
it
him
together.
know.
He keeps them focused on, like, you know, be focused on a goal. So that's what I think it is. It's a bunch of malarkey. And, you know, it is haters hating that they can't, you know, they want to be us.
What about you, Mya?
I think it's a bunch of weak ass men. I can't say what I really want to say on your podcast.
Yeah, you know, you
Nah,
say what you want to say on this podcast.
it's a bunch of weak ass ninjas that is weak because nobody. The fact that you want to ban a play, because my thing is this: every team has a play, whatever that play is. The brotherly shove is nothing but a quarterback sneak.
That's it.
Right.
Whether it's done that way or whether it's done another way, every team does a quarterback sneak. Every team has a trick play. So my thing is this: if your trick play, if we're going to talk about a trick play, that's nothing but a quarterback sneak that all teams do and have done, then let's start going through everybody's playbook and take away all trick plays. If it's one play that needs to be taken away, then everybody's playbook should be scrutinized, point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? All it does is make the teams that want it to be going look weak as hell. Because no one team should have all this power. You know what I'm saying? It's no one play that should have all this power. All you got to do is go out there and stop it. You got people jumping up and down like half-ass monkeys trying to stop the play. My man get ready to get awarded points on the board with the Washington because he's hopping up and down like a damn park ape, you know, and all of that because you can't stop. All of that because you can't stop one play, regardless of whatever the play does. Your team is not dominant, and it makes you look very weak as an organization if you want it banned all because you can't stop it. Like it doesn't make logical sense. Who was the team? I don't remember who said it. It was one of the teams. He was like, all people got to do is go out. One of their head coaches. He was like, all people got to do is go out there and find some way to stop it. Like that's it.
Right. So there's a simple way to stop it. Get ahead. If you're ahead, if you're winning by 20, then there ain't gonna be no tush push.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, like I didn't like the fact that Green Bay. I wasn't surprised at all because it had been floated around. Normally, if you hear stuff kind of floating around in NFL circles, it usually will come out. These people are bad at hiding secrets. I was actually surprised they put a name to it because normally this type of stuff is submitted anonymously.
Yeah.
The Green Bay Packers put their name, and I don't even think y'all played the Packers last year, right?
We played them in the playoffs.
Okay.
And we played them
we played our first game in Brazil.
Okay. So maybe that's what
they lost then, and they lost in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know they lost in the playoffs. But I mean, like my thing is just stop it. Like and it's totally legal because the NFL rules state that you cannot pull a player forward. It doesn't say anything about pushing them forward.
Right.
So it's well within the record. And I'm not about to advocate for changing the NFL rules just because you can't stop a play because they could do it. They could do that play. Any and every team could do it if they wanted to. They just choose not to, and maybe they don't have the personnel to do it. Right. So you guys go on. You go on this run. You make it to the Super. I mean, in dominating fashion, you dominate throughout the playoffs. The game in the snow. You guys went to that game, right?
Let me just tell you about that game. I went to that game, and let me tell you about.
I wasn't there, but B went.
I went to the game. So, and I'm going to tell you, I wanted to go to the game, but they said it was going to rain. It was going to be freezing rain. Now, if the snow is already on the ground or snowing, not a problem. But the freezing rain, I was like,
we don't do rain.
Right. So I'm just going to say my 70-plus-year-old auntie, who is like the leader of the pack, her and my uncle have been season ticket holders since 1978.
Wow.
We fans. That's where we get it from.
Wow.
First of all, she was the first one at the parade. She got there before the police. I mean, she punked me into going to the game. She was like, "Come on, baby, you going?" I was like, "Oh, auntie, it's supposed to be like freezing rain." She was like, "That's football." I mean, by the time she finished, I was like, "Okay." She came out with these Buddy Ryan goose down coats.
That they definitely didn't.
We was out there. Do you hear me? And had a ball. I was so glad that I went. But since I went, and like you still high. So next week I'm like, Mya, we gotta go to the game. Come on, we gotta go to the game. So yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, it looked beautiful on TV.
It was a whiteout.
I've never, having played football in high school and college, and growing up in South Carolina, I never played in snow. Never had a snow game. Oh, so that's if I could change anything about my football career, I would have loved to have played in the snow. Obviously, we don't get a lot of snow in the South anyway, but to see it on TV, and I mean, but Philly just dominated. And then who was that? I think y'all played Washington, and the first play, before people could even sit down, Saquon Barkley takes a sweep off the left-hand side, and he goes like 55 yards untouched. Like nobody. The thing that I tried to impress upon people as I was watching that game, I was texting with friends, my homies. I was like, they are running basic plays, and they are blowing people out of the way. Like you don't see that level of dominance. Now you can see somebody run 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You rarely see people run 50 yards untouched.
Right.
Like nobody got close to him.
Right.
And that was the first play of the game. And I'm like, this team is scary. If nothing happens to anybody, if they stay focused, they're scary. And meanwhile, on the other side, there was an arms race for the AFC. Is it going to be Lamar? Is it going to be Josh Allen? Or is it going to be Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes? So fast forward, we get to the Super Bowl. What was the atmosphere like? Because there was a lot. I could feel the electricity, from the TV. I don't know if it was because of the game or it was because of Kendrick Lamar. I was really looking forward to seeing his show. But probably by the time Kendrick was about to go on, that's all we had to look forward to because the game was over.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the Mya, you start first. What was the atmosphere like Super Bowl Sunday, particularly as an Eagles fan?
Let me go back to the NFC Championship.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
The fact that the Washington Commanders thought that they was going to come into the link. Jaden Daniels, you are great. You're going to be
great,
an awesome quarterback.
Yes.
And you are. You took that team and turned it around. But you ain't ready for us, baby. And the fact that you thought that you was going to come in there, their fans really thought they was going to come in there and beat us, belt their ass. Don't forget, we had 55 points.
Yeah.
I don't want
beat
that
them
to
twice
go
early in the season.
I don't want that to go unnoticed. They won that game at their stadium, and they thought that they won the Super Bowl. Right. I thought I was going to be out there about to have ass go to jail. But that's neither here nor there because you didn't ask me that question.
I'm telling you, Mya showed out.
Because I just was so mad that they thought, I was like, y'all finally won something. Like, you're not winners. You're finally winning. That's how you know you don't know how to act because y'all not used to winning.
They
was acting crazy.
Right.
Which
they were on a little roll. They were on a little roll that time when they beat y'all.
I mean, they made it to the NFC Championship. They only won 4 games the year before.
Exactly.
I live in the area of the Commanders. Right. So if you only won 4 games the year before and then you went to the NFC Championship, I mean, it was like you won a Super Bowl. But the fact of the matter is y'all thought y'all was going to come in. You dominated the Lions. You wasn't going to dominate us. Just like when the Lions would have came to the link, if they would have came, they wasn't going to dominate either. But get back to the Super Bowl. We knew we was going to New Orleans, right? Mm-hmm. We waited to get tickets to the game until the morning of.
Really?
The morning of the Super Bowl was when we clicked purchase. And the reason being is because even though we knew we were going to New Orleans, and we didn't book until the last minute because like Bibbi said, she was like, "Come, what we going to do? We going to do?" We was in New Orleans in August. We couldn't find anything. It was hard to find something when we decided to go. It was like everything was ridiculously priced. But God wanted
we were
us
blessed.
Yes. I'm going to tell you why.
So time out. 20 second time out.
Okay.
Not to get in your business.
We were blessed.
But if you bought tickets the morning of the Super Bowl, dare I say they weren't cheap?
No, they're not cheap, but they go down.
They go down.
They go down because if people who have them, if your team is not in it and you don't really want to go, you'll want to make anything. Like at first, they're gouging, but they go down the longer you wait.
And I think that another thing with this Super Bowl in particular was people weren't necessarily on edge with seeing a rematch. You know what I'm saying? They had been there 2 years before. It wasn't like this was an anticipated game. Like,
Right.
and another thing is let's be real clear. They was going to lose anyway, but Kansas City shouldn't have been in the Super Bowl. Kansas City wasn't a good team throughout the season. Like, Kansas City was barely winning.
They were getting
exactly.
They were literally getting by, and the little push that they was getting by was basically because they with how they are with Mahomes. Like,
go ahead and say it. The refs.
The refs, and I'm gonna say it because the year that we were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, Kansas City, rightfully so, should have been in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? This year, it was like Kansas City shouldn't even be there. So people weren't really like so obsessed to see the game.
As evidenced by it was 70% Eagles fans.
Oh,
80.
Yeah.
I say 80.
Okay.
I say 80%.
And I'm saying about maybe 10% Kansas City
came
fans
across on TV. I don't know if y'all have seen the TV copy.
Only every
came
day.
across on TV. It sounded like Eagles home
it was a
game.
game at the link. And I mean, Eagles fans, we travel no matter what. Eagles fans take over every stadium. But so like I was saying, the day of the Super Bowl, like we knew we were going to go to the game. We kept looking at the tickets, and we were like, the morning of, it was like, all right, we got to purchase them, right? Tickets 50-yard line. We was on.
Say word.
Yeah, you know how we just a little something, nothing major. You know what I'm saying? Nothing real major. Just 50-yard line at the Super Bowl. You know how, just a little something. But anyway, the morning of the Super Bowl, we knew we was going to win. I mean, that was just, we knew we was going to win. But it was really like, wow, we're going to the damn Super Bowl. Like, can you believe it? You know, not as Eagles fans, but and I'm sure, Bib, you'll touch on this. It was just like, wow, 2 little black girls, you know what I'm saying? Like, we going to the Super Bowl. It was, you know, it's to get to that point in your life. Even, you know, it's like one thing as a fan of sports, and, you know, you watch the Super Bowl on TV, you never think like, I'm going to be there one day. Right. It's not something that you don't think that you can accomplish. It's just like, you just don't even think about it. It's just kind of like, when I was young, I was just thinking like, who the hell goes to the Super Bowl? You know what I'm saying? Like, who can just go to the Super Bowl? It wasn't, it wasn't like I thought about the price or anything. It just was like, it has to be certain people that go to the Super Bowl. And I just didn't think about being one of those people. But here we are right now. We're in the Super Bowl. Our team in the Super Bowl. My love, Jalen, leading the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like the excitement of it all. Us, you know, getting to the ship, being able to go to the game, knowing that we was getting ready to go in there and dominate. I didn't even think we was going to dominate in the way that we did, but knowing that we was going to dominate, the excitement was just like mind blowing. It was like, oh my God, you know, it was crazy. It was a crazy experience when we walked in, and you just like, we've been in that arena mad times, because we go there for concerts every year. So we go there for Essence, but it's different when you there for sports than when you're there for a concert. I had never even been in half the damn stadium. So just going in there, seeing it, the lights, oh man, it was just, it was everything.
What about you, Bibbi?
I'm a very spiritual person, and I had to keep saying, Lord, I don't love football more than you. Lord, I don't love football more than you. I mean, I had to keep saying it because I don't. But the feelings that I was feeling is like, oh my goodness, like this is it. Like, and I think it was coupled with the win factor, because we had such confidence. Like, in 2023, it was like, come on, this is our year, we're going to do it, whatever. But this year was very different. It was much more confidence in the way. And I will say this, when I watch the game every Saturday and listen to all the clips and watch the clips every day during all my breaks at work, or when somebody's getting on my nerves and before I go to bed, one of the things that I enjoy most is you can watch the play, you can hear what the commentators are saying, but if you listen, the crowd is never silent.
Never.
Ever.
And
Never.
I think that, and I was like, that's me. I was screaming because, and it was palpable. Like you could feel it. Everybody there, and in our whole section, there were no Kansas City fans. Like none. No Kansas City fans.
To the right of us or to the left of us.
Nowhere. In the back, nothing. No, it was all Eagles fans. And and the boy sitting next to me was in the 8th grade. I was like, must be nice. But, so I was just like, it really was something to treasure. And yeah, and I will do it again.
Over and over.
And that's how I knew. I was like, I really didn't understand that I was a fan. Like I like football. I love football. I understand the game. I can watch it. I can explain it to people. I can have great arguments. I can win trivia contests, all of that, But when you put dollars for something, and we were doing it like it wasn't
nothing, like we was vibrating.
We got that, yes. Like when you start putting dollars to this thing,
you're invested.
You are like, and I was like, wow, I didn't even realize I loved them so much. We were I was in a meeting in California wearing green every day. That's because we were going to the Super Bowl, and steady texting Mya, what about this? What about this? We're trying to find a place to stay and everything. And my coworkers are like, all right, but Bibbi, that's a lot of money. And I'm looking at them like, mind your business. I ain't actually, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
It just doesn't matter. But it was absolute, and just the fact that when we were looking at the tickets, and I was like, no, we have to sit on this side. And Mya was like, what's the difference? I was like, well, that says AFC, we NFC, let's sit on this side. And so we could see everything going on the sidelines. We could see all the players and that.
I could see Jalen like this. Me and you.
Now you know that man married now.
Now he's married.
He married now. He wasn't married at the time, but he married now.
And I mean,
it was a great.
Let's talk about Jalen and his marriage.
Well, that's a perfect segue because I do want to talk about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been amazing. He has. If you followed his career, at Georgia and then Oklahoma, and even coming into the league, he's had his detractors. But he's, like I said earlier, he remains steady. He's remained confident in what he does and his abilities. And he just doesn't really succumb to the nonsense. The thing that I really appreciated about Super Bowl Sunday was like in watching it, and I had no dog in the fight. I knew Philly was going to win, but I had no dog in the fight. The thing that was more impressive to me of just about everything that I saw, Jalen Hurts that day, and who knows, maybe if they play 100 times, this doesn't happen. But that particular day, Jalen Hurts was clearly the best quarterback on the field. Now, Patrick Mahomes is going to go down as one of the all-time greats, and he's chasing Brady and all this other stuff. Jalen Hurts was way better, and I think the thing that was impressive to me was like all doubt was removed. Like he was to most fans, I think they had questions. Some, if you watch the games and you love football like I do and like we do, I don't think there's any question as to how good he is, because he shows that on a consistent week-to-week basis, and it's not always the numbers. Maybe he throws for 400 yards one week, maybe he rushes for 200 yards. It just depends. He does whatever Philly needs him to do to win, because Jalen, he just wants to win.
But he was dominant. Science.
He was dominant. I don't know who was more dominant, Jalen Hurts or that Philadelphia Eagles defense, because it didn't take long before I was like, oh, Kansas City's in trouble.
They're not scoring. That was.
Listen.
Yes.
Patrick Mahomes, I want to say the first 2 drives, they had negative yards. They did not even, the thing, and I don't know if you guys picked this up, but they didn't even attempt to run the ball.
No.
If you open up the game and you throw 6 straight passes, then that means that either you don't believe in your running game or you see something and you're trying to exploit something. There was nothing for Philly. There was nothing.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you work in university maintenance, Grainger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Grainger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, visit Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Quick quiz. What injury law firm has been helping people in the District, Maryland, and Virginia for over 35 years? That's right. It's Greenberg and Betterman. Auto accident? Medical malpractice? Get a free consultation by visiting gblawyers.com and feel better.
On that defense they could exploit.
Right.
And midway through the first quarter, you saw a look on Patrick Mahomes' face and Kelsey's face and Andy Reid's face like, oh shit, we can't beat them. And that, as someone who's played football all their lives, when you can put that look on somebody's, and as an opponent, and it was interesting going back and hearing like the sideline stuff when you have them, when they have them mic'd up and stuff. Philly knew it. They could see it. They was like, oh, we got him. They were talking shit. It was like, oh, we got him. We're gonna run this play. We need to run this. And by the second quarter, Patrick Mahomes, when he would drop back, he wasn't even looking for his receivers. He was looking to see if a rush was coming. Mm-hmm. And they were just teeing off on him. Mm-hmm. But Jalen Hurts was incredible. Jalen Hurts was unstoppable. The bomb that he threw at the end of the first half, beautiful. I mean, and hit him in stride. And as a former receiver, I can appreciate that because he did everything that he was supposed to do on that play, and he got the ball there. And that's all you can ask for as a quarterback. So you guys dominate. You win the Super Bowl. What was it like? And I know it's a crazy question, but what was it like just watching the confetti come down and realize that your team and you, too, are world champions?
It was everything. It was everything. But it wasn't, the confetti coming down wasn't even the icing on the cake. The 6 sacks was the icing on the cake. The fact that they didn't get a third down ever
in the whole first
that
half
was the icing on the cake. The fact that they didn't score
44 minutes and 35 seconds.
Let's be clear. That was the icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? The fact that when Cooper DeJean had that pick, the look of defeat on their face when they started. And the thing is, it goes back to what I said. They shouldn't have been there. They were not a dominant team that should have been there. They didn't have, first of all, Kelsey, I can't stand that Kelsey. I like our Kelsey, but I don't like that other Kelsey because I don't like no white man that's trying to act like he black when it's, I don't like.
Did y'all see Swift Taylor at the game?
I don't like none of that.
Did y'all see Swift Taylor at the game?
And they booed her. They only showed her on the Jumbotron one time. And as soon as they showed her, they just started booing. And she was like,
what did I do? Because Philly, we don't care about care about none of that bull crap. We here to play a game. We don't care about no celebrities. We don't care. Right. You ain't no celebrity when then what are you doing? This is about football. This is not about no Taylor Swift. Mm-hmm. So Kelsey, time to retire, boo. Do something. You got to do something different. Ever since he got that white mullet haircut, you see what's been going on with him.
He was like a police officer.
Patrick Mahomes, you couldn't do nothing. Jalen was the better quarterback on the field that Super Bowl and the last. Be very clear. And I want to go back to something that you said, talking about Jalen Hurts. I do pay attention to the national media. Okay. I watch sports TV all the time. I watch YouTube all the time and listen to everything about the Eagles, whether it's a blogger or ESPN or anybody else talking about Jalen. And what always gets on my nerves is when they say, "Oh, Jalen does just enough of what the Eagles need him to do." First of all, what is he supposed to do? That's his team. That's how he's coached. You know what I'm saying? Also, he's had different offensive coordinators the whole time that he's been on the team, and he's been able to adjust and win. And just like he said, when did winning not become the main thing? And all those quarterbacks who they compare him to, Joe Burrows, Lamar, when it comes down to it, and I did that for a reason. I did it for a reason. When it comes down to who you want to take in a clutch, I don't care what your numbers say. I'm going to take Jalen every time, and I'm not taking him just because he's my quarterback. I'm going to take him because when it comes down to it and he has to win, that's what he does. That's exactly what he does. So I want a quarterback that's going to show up when it matters. I don't need you to throw 1,200 yards, 400 yards. I don't need you to do all of that. I don't need you to be able to stay in the pocket, get out the pocket, whatever. I need you to be able to put points on the board to win the game, to take us to where we went to, which was the ship. And another thing about it is they can't stand my man because he's so poised. He don't let nothing get to him. You could tell that he was raised by his black ass daddy and his black ass mother, and who gave him all the tools that he needed to be in the position that he's in right now. He's not up there as no ignorant ass man saying anything out of his mouth, and they can't stand it. It ain't got nothing to do with his numbers. It's his class. That's what it has to do with. If he was up there showing his ass and not being classy, then he'd be the best thing since sliced bread. If he had gold teeth all across his goddamn mouth and never cut his hair, he'd be the best thing since sliced bread. If he had a white girl on his goddamn arm, then he'd be the best thing since sliced bread. They'd be talking about him like, oh, Jalen this and Jalen that. But because he stands by his black ass woman with his black ass family, and he goes out there and he conducts himself like a man should conduct themselves, because that's what he was taught, then they can't stand him. And they really can't stand that he doing all of that and winning. So that's what I want to say about Jalen. Now, back to when the confetti fell. Yes, it was a wonderful experience. You know, I just thought the whole thing, it was like, we won the damn. It was really surreal because it wasn't even about the win. It was like, damn, yo, we won the Super Bowl and we're here to experience it. Yes. When we won that first Super Bowl in 2017, my whole family, they was together. I was here by myself, running up and down my house like a banshee, screaming and hollering.
So nobody went to that game in Minnesota?
We didn't go to that game.
Okay. No, we didn't go to that game because we didn't want to go to Minnesota. Okay. I mean, like at the end of the day, the Super Bowl experience is an experience. So it's not just about the game, especially like you can go to the Super Bowl. When we went to the Super Bowl in Jacksonville, me and my family didn't go to the Super Bowl. We just went down there to be in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to be in no atmosphere in Minnesota. What you gonna be doing outside?
Ice fishing.
Right.
Right. So it was a really a surreal feeling about like being in there and just being able to enjoy it with the fans. Because the whole time your hand was hurting because you were slapping hands each and every time. We was just hollering and screaming and you lost your voice, and just seeing them. And then when we just seen them host the trophy up and Jalen put that cigar in his mouth, I was just like, the things I could do to that man. That's what I was thinking.
What about you, Bibbi? What did it feel like when it was finally because technically the game was literally over in like the second quarter, but we still had more time to play.
Yes.
And even some of the commentary on social media, which was like, I hope the Eagles don't go Falcons. I was like, no, the Eagles ain't gonna go Falcons. I was like, The Eagles, they low key don't like this team, and they low key don't like the fact that people have been picking them all this time, so they're gonna try to blow them out, which is what we saw. What did you take from the final ticks and the final celebration after?
This is, first of all, at the game, we knew it was over. we knew it's that first half it was over.
Yeah.
And when they came out and still couldn't score, they knew it was over.
Mhm.
And
I honestly think they knew it was over in the second quarter.
yeah, they had to know. They were feeling. I think they were deflated in the
Yes.
second
Yeah.
quarter. But when they came out in the second half, they thought they was like, all right, come on, let's get our mojo back. Let's get this done. But when they couldn't score in their first two drives of the third quarter, they knew that it was over. They knew that it was over. So for us, it was about, and I like a blowout. People are talking about, oh, it should have been closer, da da da. Yeah. Oh, I was about to say,
You can
yeah,
cuss.
fuck you.
Right.
Fuck you.
Get them out of here early.
Because first of all, it was the Super Bowl. It wasn't close, and this Super Bowl is going to go down in history. This Super Bowl is going to go down in history. So yeah, no, we want to blow them out. We love that. And even though we knew we won, everybody stayed put. And I think that was the big part of it all. Because when the game was over, those little freckles of red, you see, they start dissipating and moving out, whatever. And we were sitting there like the game was just about to start.
Yeah.
You know, it was over, and we were still hyped. We were still in it. We were still looking at what everybody was doing down there on the field, still high-fiving our new cousins in the front and the back of us and all kinds of stuff like that. So it was that was really a part of the whole experience, how they celebrate, seeing the families, the long hugs. You just talked right now on the podcast about when my dad was coaching me, and it shows the power of a black daddy, the power of a black family and what it can do, and watching those hugs, like, oh my, and I was looking at them like they was hugging, and one of them, they was like, where's my mom, they're looking for their loved ones. All of that was a part of the experience, and it was special. And even though you're not down there, like, we're not playing the game, we are members of the team. Like, we are vested. You know what I mean? We are vested. People calling us, we calling them, like, we did it. And, it was amazing. It really was amazing.
It is a very special feeling. I tell people all the time, like, the thing that, just as a fan of football, I've been a fan. I've said this on the podcast plenty of times. Football is my first love. Long before hip hop came, long before these little naughty-headed girls came along, it was all about football. So that's my first love. I think one of the things that I would love to see most football fans get a chance to experience is their team winning a Super Bowl, because there's no feeling like it. And then also going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. If you're a football fan, I think it is literally and figuratively heaven on earth for a football fan. And it's in Canton, Ohio. If you guys get a chance, go see everything, because it is a sight to behold. But yeah, having them and watching them win, I think that's one of the things, just as a fan of the game, I always like seeing that, because like, these are the people who helped you get. So that's why those hugs are special. That's why those guys are in tears. You see these big 300-pound guys, grown ass men crying, because it's the process. It's the days that you got up and worked out when you didn't want to work out. It's the days that you missed your kids, first steps because you're playing in San Francisco. It's the days that, your mom is sick, or your grandfather who put a football in your hand he passed away before you played your first game. Those type of things, and those stories, and everybody has those stories, and they're so relatable. We all don't come from, broken backgrounds.
Right.
I'm glad you mentioned about Jalen Hurts. And one of the things, that's been even more impressive about Jalen Hurts is that not just his parents and his family, but his team, his media team, his financial team, they all represent the culture. They represent us. And they look like him, and they are relatable to him. And you don't really see that. I mean, like, he has a black agent. Like, you don't see a lot of black agents, period. Speaking of black and white, my man Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley did his thing on the field. Incredible football player. Saquon Barkley is and I think he's been married for a few years now. His wife is not black. She's white.
No, they're not married.
They're not married?
No.
I thought they were married.
They're not married.
Oh. So that's a baby mama. Okay.
They have been together for a long time, but
Yeah,
they
they've
are
been
not
together for a
married.
So how did it was brought to, because Twitter Twitter keeps receipts. some recent tweets that came out that his girlfriend used the N-word. She had nigga this, nigga that on some tweets. How did that? But B, you're in Philly. How did that play out amongst Philly fans? Were they cool with it? Was there some backlash, or was they like, oh well, it don't matter to me. He didn't say it, so how did that go over?
I think that the temperature here is more about, and it depends on who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
But Black Philly, black Philly fans. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. It's it is what it is, and that's what you get because that's what you got because that's what you chose. You know what I mean? So it's like nobody's feeling sorry. Because that's what you get, because that's what you got, because that's what you chose. And I even feel like that for him coming to the team. Yes, he's a asset to the team. He is, but there's a saying: if you eat the cookie, you got to deal with the crumbs. So
it's a bar.
It's that's exactly, and that's exactly what it is. So nobody's feeling sorry for you. And what does that say about you as a person? As a Black person, that you will associate yourself in any kind of capacity. I can't tell people who to love, but you're going to associate yourself with someone who, because if that's what she was saying, I don't care who she was talking about, she's talking about you too.
Pretty much. You're right.
Yeah. So I don't get that. They ain't,
What about
what
you,
was the
Mya?
question?
How did the tweets that were discovered by that were produced by Saquon's fiance or baby mama, whoever she is, how did that play out with you and your fandom and the people that you know?
Well, I think it's what Bibbi says. It's two different kinds of Philly fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is. Philly fans, you got a lot of Philly fans that's racist as hell. Them fans, them white fans in South Philly and all that. It's a two thing. They like run nigga run, you know what I'm saying? Because you winning the game, but they don't care about you outside of that. You know what I'm saying? They care about the fact that you are a eagle, and when you become not an eagle, then you just a regular ass Black man that's just out there doing whatever. And while you an eagle, they don't care really about your life. They just care about the fact that you out there winning the game. So that's just what it is. I mean, we're not oblivious to the fact that you have. That's why we always say, when people be like, oh, Philly fans is like this and Philly fans is like that, we always say, be very clear. It's a specific people that's like that. It's a specific fan that you have that's the reason why they have a jail, or they had a jail in the stadium. You know what I'm saying? That's not a regular Philly fan across the board. Philly fans are passionate, but we're not like aggressive in that way. A specific fan is. So, I mean, I feel like, just like what B said, you got what you got. That's what it is. Y'all get with these white girls. Y'all think these white girls got your best interest at heart. They don't have your best interest at heart. They have your best interest at heart when you're making money and when you are somebody. And that's just what it is. And the fact of the matter is that if you wasn't that person and you wasn't making money, they wouldn't be with you. It just is what it is. And you don't see... It ain't about, like, I hate when people get into that. Oh, you can love who you want to love. It's a facade. It's fake. You can't love who you want to love. It's like they're lying. They're lying to you, and you're lying to yourself. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Because when the rubber hits the road, you're gonna be called a nigga. Yeah. When she get mad enough, you're a nigga. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way that she thinks about you. Just a nigga that can run and jump and do a backward turtle over people. Thanks. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that move was hellified. I mean, that's crazy. One of the craziest football moves I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. I wish I had time to talk about it on this podcast, but there will be a coming podcast about the mixture and what we're seeing. It ain't nothing new. But the Black athlete and who he's dating and mating with, that episode's coming, because there's this whole Shannon Sharp thing, and then seeing stuff like this.
Maybe
you
have
know
us
what? For
back.
me, it really becomes evident in the draft when the draft whether it's the NFL draft or the NBA draft. And I just sometimes Maya and Bibbi, I just look on my Twitter timeline and it's
Mm.
sisters just like y'all who love the game. You don't know that he played at Auburn or whatever like that. And you don't care. You happy to see this young black boy get to the next level. And then they flash that camera and it's
there
in the
she is.
household and she all up.
Mhm.
So there's a podcast coming about that.
Oh
Um,
yes.
Speaking of controversy, you guys did have some controversy here recently, depending on who you ask. As you all know, or most of you listening and watching know that when the team normally wins, they get the customary invitation to the White House to celebrate their championship with the leader of the free world. Which we didn't have a problem in years past, up until, a couple of years ago when this guy got elected. I don't say his name on my podcast. Let's just refer to him as Duke. So Duke gets in and he, has feelings, and there's certain NBA teams that never made it to the White House to visit, certain NFL teams that didn't make it to the White House to visit, and subsequently so forth and so on. But he's back in office, unfortunately,
Right.
and so he puts out the invitation for the Eagles to come to the White House. Now, your quarterback, Jalen Hurts, decided not to come. And it's well within his right because, quite frankly, when President Barack Obama was in office, there were NFL players and Major League Baseball players that did not attend, the ceremony as well. So it's not something that you have to attend. It's not something that, it's a custom thing. But and there's always the fan, oh, but we don't like to mix sports and politics, which is bullshit because the minute that you play that national anthem, you are mixing sports and politics. I don't care what you say, but that's another story for another day. So, the Eagles get the invitation. I think the day before, Saquon goes and plays golf with Duke and rides back to Washington D.C. I think on Air Force One, and they subsequently have a greeting in the Olive Garden at the White House. But B, what did you make of the backlash, and what did you think about Jalen's decision not to go?
Well, Jalen had a scheduling conflict. He was not available to me. That's my
Yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah, he had a scheduling conflict.
He had a
all
scheduling
right.
conflict, yeah. And
He
that's
wasn't
my
going.
and that's my quarterback. As far as the other, I will just say, and I'm a kind of person that I have learned in my extra months of living that I can't be so concerned with other people choose to do. However, Maya says this all the time. Like people say, I can't believe it. I can believe it. And I will
Yeah.
say this. He went to Penn State and loved every day of it. So, you know what I mean? So there you get there's that on that. You know what I mean? So again, and he spoke of respecting the office. Duke don't even respect the office. What are you talking about? What are we talking about here? I just don't understand it. So it is again, gonna eat the cookie, gotta deal with the crumbs. I'm not surprised at all. I think that because he went alone, it makes it more obvious.
Yes.
Makes it more obvious that you're a coon. Like it makes it more obvious. And I'm also glad that you brought up there were a lot of athletes who did not accept the invitation when Barack Obama was in office.
Yes,
and people don't talk about that.
No.
They don't talk about how they disrespected him and they weren't respecting the office and all of that kind of stuff. They don't talk about that. They're only talking about it, in this situation, which is, not fair and not relevant because you do not have to come.
No, it's an invitation.
Exactly.
It's no different than
you do not
if
have
you
to
say,
come.
"Hey, Kyle, you want to come to the bar and get a beer?" No, I don't want to come.
Exactly.
And I don't have to give you a reason as to why I don't want to come.
Exactly.
I don't want to come. I got something to do.
Invite the Nittany Lion, they'll go.
What about you, Maya?
Everybody, I gotta calm myself down,
Right.
because people that know me know. A lot of people say that I'm racist, right? I'm not racist because Black people can't be racist. But that neither being here nor there. I'm just pro-Black. And the fact my pro-Black ass looked at his goofy Black ass and was like, why would you do this? And you can tell that he's not a part of us.
Right.
He came on our team. He played good. But when I say that he's not a part of us, he came from the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
No shade to your Giants.
No.
He came from
Throw
the Giants.
shade. They have
So
their shade to be
really,
thrown.
you're one of them. And then you came to us and we just accepted you. So I'm not surprised because you're not us. You're not like us. It was the perfect person at the Super Bowl performing, which was Kendrick Lamar, singing that song. He saw it. He saw it. They're not like us. You are not like us. All of the people, all of those Black players who did not come to the White House, they're like us. Yes. You are not. And this is the problem that I have with it. It's the problem that I have with a lot of people. If you are who you are, stand in who you are. If you want to be a coon, stand in being a coon. If you pro-Black, stand in being pro-Black. There's nothing wrong with it. You just got to stand in what it is that you believe in. And the reason why I said that is because you want to go out there, you playing golf with them, and then you put out this tweet talking about you respect the office. It's not about respecting the office. Then the next tweet says, oh, now we can stop talking about politics. It's already about politics when you accepted the invitation. Exactly. Like you said, when y'all play the national anthem, you can't have it both ways. Right. Stand firm in what it is. I wanted to go. I went. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with Jalen saying that that they putting out that he had a scheduling conflict, I'm like, yeah, nah, say you ain't want to go, because that's just what it is. Like, yeah, no, I don't want to go. Just like when they tried to bait him on the red carpet and they was like, oh, are you going? And he ain't say nothing. I was like, bravo, baby. Yeah. Bravo. Yeah. You didn't let them people bait you in. I don't have to answer you. Mm-hmm. I don't have to say nothing. And I say that all the time. All these people got to do is say nothing. I don't owe you an explanation. No. I don't have to give you anything. Nah. Like, it's not what it's not. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be what it's not. I ain't going. Point blank, period. Right. So Saquon going, like what B said, he went to Penn State. He got a white woman on his arm. She's saying, nigga, you cool with it. You in the club with the whites, thinking that you one of them. And that's another biggest thing that I have. Y'all think because you get some money that you're now on the level. You're not. They're always going to show you exactly who they are. It's just like when I started off and I said, the white people love you when it's run, nigga, run, because you're doing something that they want you to do. It's not about whether or not they like you as a person. So you're going up there, you're smiling, you're shucking, you're jiving, you're doing all of this shit that you don't even have to do. You could have just went to the joint, stood up there, took your picture, and that's it. You out there, you don't even realize you smiling so damn hard. They using you as a damn prop, like they do most of the people that they bring into their lair. Yeah. They using you as a prop, and you don't even see it. And instead of you not feeding into it, just going because you respect the office, like you said, you're up there smiling and laughing and cheesing just like the prop that you are, looking like a dumbass. Right. And it pisses me off, not because your black ass is black and you're doing it. It pisses me off because now you're on our team. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like, what am I going to do now when you're running and scoring a touchdown? Now I can't even be like, oh, go Saquon.
Well, I mean, it's transactional. I mean, like you still he's a part of the team. So I say this all the time. Here's what I always say. When it comes to sports, it's always going to be about the name on the front of the jersey, not the back. Mm-hmm. As fans, we care, but we really don't care. I mean, because if we're being honest and being even in true enough, and I came to this realization several years ago. As much as I love football, I also understand that these men are putting their life, their livelihood. Yeah. Now, they're getting paid handsomely for it, but they're putting their livelihoods on the line. And 95% of them, when they finish playing, I probably will never think of them again. and they gonna be fucked up. They gonna, the heads gonna have, they have health issues. Some of them are literally carving off years of their lives for my entertainment. They're getting paid handsomely for it, but there's an interaction there. And so I don't really, how can I put this? I don't get too charged up about it. If Saquon was, if this were the Giants and he was still on the team, I wouldn't feel any way about it. I mean, it's like, I would be, like you said, Bibbi, I'm not even disappointed. That's what it is, that you have clearly stated or shown me who you are. I would appreciate it more if you just stand in it and say, like, this is my guy. I'm rocking with him. I'm going. Okay, cool. So you over there. That's cool. I got no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is, like you said, the tweet. Hey, well, why do we have to talk about politics? Bro, the minute you accepted his invitation. And again, like you said, and I hadn't even thought about it till you said this, he was out there by himself. It wasn't like it was him, the coach, the GM, Howie, and the, the team owner, Lurie. It was just him by himself. And so
he couldn't wait to go.
Yeah, so you look like Kanye did. You look like everybody else that him and his administration has trotted out there, because ultimately, and this is what I really thought was going to happen when they were at the White House. I thought it was going to be like, yo, this is my friend, because people like Duke, he will give you that. Hey, look, I got me a black friend.
I got one. Right.
I got one. You can't say I'm racist because I'm friends with Saquon Barkley. So, I mean, it is what it is.
And you really do have to look into the future. So when the season starts and stuff, and we have our opinions about things, but again, we need to hope that doesn't cause any kind of, the boy has talent, he's athletic, but it's a team sport. Right. One person can't do it. It's a team sport. So we just have to hope that they still have the camaraderie. They're going to have to build stuff back because there's new people. And then you out here
doing this.
Well, here's what I would, in Saquon's defense, if I could defend him, I will say this much. What he showed me last year was that he was really about that team, and something that you mentioned, Mya, as far as him being embraced by Philadelphia and the Eagles nation and everything, because he had a chance to break the rushing record, and he decided to sit out because he knew for a fact, if I go for this record, not only do I have to get my body and everything else ready for this upcoming week of football, a week that I can afford to, rest my body, but if I sit out, then the offense has to sit out. But if I say, okay, I got to go get this record, then everybody else has to play. And if everybody else has to play, we could run the risk of somebody getting hurt, and that could jeopardize our chance. He did something that was very unselfish. And I was surprised, not so much that I didn't think he was selfish or unselfish, but I know that record that he was right up on, very few people get close to. And he would have easily broken that record. And that's a record that stood, I think, for 40 years. And if he would have broken it, I mean, the way teams pass the ball now, it might stand for another 40 years because nobody runs the ball like that.
Right.
And we've seen the running back position become devalued over years. Saquon and Derrick Henry are probably the last running backs, at least for a while, to get paid top dollar to do what they do, because now it's all about having quarterbacks. So I thought that was very unselfish of him. I don't know. But Bibbi, you make a great point. I think he's probably going to have to mend some things with some teammates. I don't think, come Sunday kickoff time, I don't think it'll be a problem, but he's going to have to mend some fences probably with some teammates. Mya, I see your hands up.
I just want to say that's all well and good, right? and that sounds wonderful. I think that's so great. Oh, I saw some things that was so unselfish in him. The problem with doing things like he did, it diminishes that, right? So, and this is for me. I can't speak for anybody else because I can only speak for me and how I look at somebody. And this ain't got nothing to do with, I also don't want to get into that, well, I don't look at them. It's just like, oh, you just look at them as sports. No. Like us as people, we got to start looking at the picture across the board. We have to stop. And this is not what this is about, because this is about the Eagles. But I just have to say this in closing. we have to stop looking at it like, oh, well, you know, it doesn't affect me in that way. It does. It affects all of us. And all of the things that you did, when you do one thing, my mother always said, everybody is one mistake, 1 second away from changing their whole life, changing the trajectory of your whole life. And so I'm not saying that him going out there and taking a picture with Duke and playing golf with Duke is now changing his trajectory of his whole life, but it makes me look at him differently. As a Black man, I don't give a shit what his ass can do. You know, I don't care if you can run, jump, skip, hop, and you took us to the Super Bowl, because guess what? You did. You were a part of the reason why we were able to go and spend all our damn money and watch that confetti come down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You were.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, and I only can speak for me, I look at people and who you, or what does your character say? Now, Bibbi said you don't got good character if you're still in cable. I'll still cable. So I mean, it is what it is. But outside of that, who are you? You know what I'm saying? What do you stand for? Like, dead ass, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And you fell for anything. It makes me look at you a different way. The first thing I think about now when I think about you is this. Not all of the great things that you did throughout the season. Not the fact that you probably going to have a nonprofit in the city. Not the fact that you you made the sacrifice and for the rushing yards and blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, all right. But remember when he was standing up there with old boy? That's what I'm saying. We have to be very mindful of who we are and what we really truly want our legacy to be outside of this game. Like you said, you shaving off years of your life, and the only thing somebody gonna remember about you now, not that you almost crushed the yardage and won the jump, and it ain't gonna be another one for 40 years. Now everybody gonna look at you and be like, remember when this dumbass was standing up there with old boy? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the reason why the passion comes out in the way that it does. And that's the reason why I'm like, damn, when you run it down the field, now I can't even be like, go Saquon, go. And it ain't just Saquon. This is really across the board in whoever it is. If I can leave with anything, it's like, what do you really truly want your legacy to be? Like, you want your legacy to be like this? And that you with a chick that's calling niggas, like what is it? You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I'm so passionate about it, because like Black people stand up, like stand for something. That's the reason why I love Jalen so much, not just because he's our quarterback and because he's great. It's because that man stands for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't go out of what it is that he goes out of. He don't make no noise. That ain't who he is. He out there, he doing a job. It is what it is. And when his legacy is all said and done, that's what people going to remember. They ain't talking about the fact that he throwing so many yards now. They think that he a bust. But when it's all said and done, they going to know that he got Super Bowls under his belt, that he did it with class. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't standing up there with Duke. So, you know what I'm saying? That it's just like, come on.
Listen, Jalen Hurts.
I'm just passionate about.
You
are people. You know what I'm saying?
I say this about Jalen Hurts, and it goes back to his time at Georgia, and you guys remember Jalen Hurts they were in the national championship game. He was not playing well at all, and so he gets benched. Tua Tagovailoa comes in, throws the game-winning touchdown. The first person, as Tua's running off the field, the first person you see grabbing him is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is celebrating as they win the national championship at Alabama, which is something that, you know, they were dominant. And Nick Saban the head coach, was in a tough position because you normally don't bench your starting quarterback in the biggest game of the year. But he took that and he was humble about it. And he recognized, well, hey, I wasn't playing well. And then he was like, well, hey, maybe this Tua Tagovailoa kid is going to play here, and maybe I need to leave. And he was still humble enough to leave and then still succeed at Oklahoma and then subsequently with Philly. So the class that you mentioned, he's exhibited that throughout his career. So you ain't got to worry about him catching no DUIs. You ain't got to worry about him playing golf with Duke. He's going to stand on something. He's going to stand on business, and he's going to carry himself in a way that, you know, as not just as a Philly fan, but even as a Giants fan, you look at the brother and you be proud of who
Right.
he is and what he's doing. Even you don't want him to be too successful against your team, but you want him to, keep doing what he's doing and being who he is. Before we get out of here, I gotta ask, since the season is right around the corner, and Bibbi, I'll start with you. What y'all gonna do this year?
If there's a team that will have a three-peat, it will be the Philadelphia Eagles.
But you gotta win. You gotta go back to back
If
first.
there's a
She said what she
team
said.
that has a three-peat, it will be the Philadelphia Eagles. Because
So
if you
you're
look
saying
at
Philly's gonna win this year?
if you heard what I said. I said I did not mix my words. If there's a team that will have a three-peat, it will be the Philadelphia Eagles. If you look at when we win, we beat the best. We beat the Patriots. When we won our first Super Bowl, we beat the Goofs. When we won our second Super Bowl, because they just knew they was coming in there to do something. So if there's a three-peat, it will be by the Philadelphia Eagles. And we have some good talent. We made out very good in the draft.
You did.
How we worked is magic. I already reserved my Jihad jersey. Got it on reserve, ready for it. You're gonna have number 30. I like that number too. It's my birthday. I'm good.
Okay.
So we're looking good this year. We're looking good this year. And like I said, it's all about the defense because our offense works. We can put points on the board, and it's up to our defense to stop them from scoring. We in.
Okay. Mya, your predictions?
Well, it's like when I started out, I don't like to, in my mind, I'm like, oh, it is what it is. But, I'm going to say what I said, perhaps, I think that we're in a good position. The team, we lost some players, but one thing I like that Howie does and that the Eagles have done over the last couple of years is the team is younger, so, and if they can be coached up, then we'll be fine. I was kind of like the only player that I was like really like, oh, why would they get rid of him was CJ. And I thought not just because CJ is a good player, but like his energy, I think you need that kind of energy in the locker room and things like that. But they drafted younger. The defense is young.
Very
we
young.
have our offense is pretty, our line is the same. So I think that if we look at the team as like from what we had last year to what we have this year, I think we'll be good. And if I'm not going to say like, oh, are we going back to the Super Bowl? Perhaps. And you see what my perhaps got us last year. So I'm not ruling it out. And then when I look at the other teams, because, like we pay attention to football. So it's not like we just fans because we look good in the Eagles jerseys.
Right.
We pay attention to the game. We pay attention to the other teams. I seen how the other teams drafted. I seen how we drafted. I see how, Vic Fangio, like I said, is an old school coach. He's going to get them young boys right in shape, And if it's any indication from what our defense did last year, them young boys that came in, DeJean and all of them, the year that they had as rookies, I think we'll be good. What about your Giants? I know this is about the Eagles, but what do you think about the Giants?
Yeah, this podcast is definitely about the Eagles.
Okay.
But I will answer your question. I don't really have a lot of hope. We did get Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, and I think Russell Wilson might be a year or two younger than me and Bibbi. So I don't know. I think we're probably. Well, here's the thing: the owner came out and said, it's not a good sign if your owner comes out and say, well, hey, you know what? I could have fired these guys. That ain't a good sign. And to say I could have fired these guys, but I'm not going to fire them, but they're going to start the season on a hot seat. And you pretty much have most of the team coming back, so you basically we have to make the playoffs for the coach to keep his job and the general manager to keep his job. And that's not going to happen. So, and I told you, I took a brief glance at the schedule. It's murderer's row. Like, so if we don't have the Russell Wilson from Seattle, it's going to be a long time. So,
and he's long gone. Yes,
exactly. So, I'm looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to talking trash. I'm looking forward to who knows? I may even show up for a game this year. But my thing is always, if I go to a Giants game, it's got to be early in the season because God
it's
bless
cold in the
y'all for,
Meadowlands.
huh?
I said it's cold up there.
Yeah. Y'all, God bless y'all. Y'all are some troopers. That game that you went to in the snow, I would have been it. Only if I could have sat in the booth or one of those box seats or one of those, in the heat. No, I'm bougie like that. I can't do snow. I don't like being cold. So,
Right.
and it's a different feeling when you're on the football field because you don't really feel how cold it is. In the stands, if they say it's 20 and the link, I know the wind comes through there and everything, man, wind chill below 5. No, I don't need that.
And we out there tailgating before the game.
Yeah, y'all be out there like at 7:00 in the morning. No, man. No. I pulled the Falcons came here to Atlanta, so went to that game and we lost. But it was good to be. But that game was inside and it was in December. So, but no, I think it'll be. If I had to put a prediction, we'll probably win 6 games. Like I said, it won't be enough. The coach and the GM may be fired by Halloween, so they might be at your local homecoming. So who knows? They won't be employed. But just as a fan, I'm looking. I love football, so
right.
I'm one of those people that even when my team, now I'm gonna watch my team, but after that, I want to watch a good game. So I'll be watching. I watch your Eagles. I watch, and then I mean, like, somebody has to hate on the Cowboys, so I'm always here for that.
Well, you get on board. We played them our first game.
So I won't be rooting for anybody, but I will be rooting for y'all. If that makes sense.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you. We appreciate the love and support. And I mean, in all honesty, the NFC East used to be the division to beat, and it looks like we can get back there.
Yeah, they are.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough because Washington is good.
Yes.
They're back in the mix. Philly, you guys are legit Super Bowl contenders.
Cowboys stay in their delusion.
Dallas,
they stay in their delusion. Just let them
listen. Dallas. Here's what Dallas will do. They gonna give you 6-2 to start the season.
Yeah, they're going to give you a good season.
They gonna give you that if they and their fans. And if y'all are watching, listen, bless your hearts. I don't understand why y'all keep signing up for this insanity every year, and why you keep doing it yourselves, because your team ain't been shit since Tupac was still alive, since Bill Clinton was in office. But y'all keep trying, and y'all have stayed loyal. I wouldn't have signed up for that, and I'm a Giants fan. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great season. I hope and pray that everybody, plays and stays as healthy as they can. And, at the end of the day, the best team will be left standing in February. And hopefully we'll see if y'all will be back at the Super Bowl again. Is it in Arizona this year?
No, it's in LA. I mean, it's at the where the 49ers play.
SoFi Stadium. No, not SoFi, yeah.
It's where the 49ers play. My brother said their stadium is okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I've heard that. It's like it's okay. Yeah. It's like it's nothing really to brag about. But But yeah, who knows? Who knows? Maybe you guys will be booking a trip and buying more tickets Super Bowl Sunday morning.
I gotta do some strange things for some change.
Your mouth for God's ears.
Listen.
Go Birds.
Listen.
Go Birds.
That is gonna do it for us. Hopefully, prayerfully in 2025, we'll get an episode of We Did That Shit podcast coming back. If we don't get it, they'll be back on here again. I promise. But ladies, I thank y'all for coming through as always. Y'all are the best.
It was our pleasure. It was our pleasure, Kyle. It really was.
Yeah, and good luck. I'm gonna wish y'all luck.
Thank you.
And I hope the Giants win. Now listen, if the Giants beat the Eagles,
what does Mya say? That's your Super Bowl.
Listen. If the Giants beat the Eagles that second game of the season, there may be a podcast that night.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be on the phone like, hey, we need to do a conference call.
And if it's a podcast that night, you better get ready for me to be on there angry as hell.
Yes, because
I get angry.
But yes, very.
Right. So yeah, we got a great NFL season to look forward to. Like I said, the schedule. By the time you guys hear this episode, the schedule is out, And good luck to your teams, everybody who's not a Cowboys fan.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. So for Bibbi and for Mya from the We Did That Shit podcast, I am your boy 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys next time. 5,000.
If you work in university maintenance, Grainger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Grainger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, visit Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. If you work in university maintenance, Grainger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Grainger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, visit Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.